A study published last year found that suicide is the second leading cause of death among NCAA athletes. Talking about mental health is a relatively new concept in sports, but the Courage First Athlete Helpline is changing the game for people who are struggling or experiencing abuse in athletics. The helpline's national program manager, Kathy Beach, joins me for tonight's Sunday conversation with former ASU and NFL player Jamil Douglas, who's challenging the stigma. So many of the greatest in their sport come forward and say they've struggled with mental health. How have you kind of witnessed that as an athlete, and when did you start to struggle? When did you act on it, and how have you changed?
Yeah, for me, it was something that just kind of happened over time. Mm-hmm. You start to realize that you don't feel the same, or you're not the same outside of your sport. Mm-hmm. And that was alarming to me. I wanted to be the same guy that I've always been. And so when I did decide to address it, my first thought was just find a therapist, find someone that I could speak to, that I could trust. And that was really the start of it. And so many people coming out and speaking about it, that kind of normalized it to me and gave me kind of that courage to speak up about what I was feeling.
Kathy, what is the most challenging thing that you've heard or seen from athletes?
A lot of the contacts that we get, I would say, actually are related to emotional abuse or emotional maltreatment. That line between strict coaching and what might be detrimental to mental health later on can be really fuzzy. And I think, a lot of us who are athletes ourselves sometimes look back on how we might have been treated by a coach or treated by even our parents with that pressure being put on them, how that affected our mental health later on.
And how do you have that conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always just listening, right? Looking for those signs of behavior changes. Are they eating? Are they sleeping? Are they feeling withdrawn? And if you're seeing those behavior changes, just like a gentle approach of listening, being non-judgmental, and educating yourself on what's out there in terms of resources.
I want to take a look at some of this old school video from almost a decade ago. As you were preparing for your draft day, we were there with your family as you got the call from the Dolphins. When you see that young man, what comes to mind? What would you tell him now that you know what you know from your time in the league?
So much. When I see him, like, he doesn't know what real life is gonna bring, you know? And so dealt with so many emotions and feelings throughout the past 10 years. I would just tell him to stay the course and stay true to yourself, like those are some of these people, man, it's so influential in my life. Still talk to him today. I would just tell him, stay the course, stay encouraged, and, be true to yourself, because you're gonna experience things throughout life that you're gonna have to kind of rely on the things that you've been taught. And that's what I would tell him. It's crazy that it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and you look the same.
Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So much has changed in 10 years, but I'm proud of where I'm at right now, given the things that I've been through. And yeah, that's a good feeling to see him and be where I'm at now.